simmering, cooking up, no rocks in the pan, watching the plan form in the sand, bidding castles out of thoughts in our head, late nights, no sleep in my bed, trying to see my dreams manifest. Look at that, now look at that, we nice. Put the past on ice, I was bad like Mike, now I'm good like Kendrick said, boy, we gon' be alright. I just double my price, I get love on sight, that's the only love I like. Now look at that, we nice. For all the ones who showed up with no motives. That fake love is so bogus. I don't take love from false.
What is going on, everybody? Of course, today is Thursday, and of course, that is 2 days away from none other than WrestleDream itself. This coming Saturday, I got my little mascot in the background over there, Bailey, who's probably knocked out and tired of me talking about wrestling for this whole entire week. But sorry, sweetheart, we got a lot more to talk about because, of course, this weekend is none other than WrestleDream. And what a hell of a card we had on here. We had a very interesting Title Tuesday as well this past Tuesday night, which we're going to get into. But let us get into our guests itself. And it's none other than Asa and Kay Fabulous from No Bones About Wrestling. How are we doing? I missed you all. It's been some time since we last worked together, so I'm very happy we're doing it again, doing it up big with WrestleDream. How you guys been?
Yep.
Good. Busy.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good.
Good. Yes, no, it's been good. I missed you all. I missed doing this, so it's nice to finally be back in the swing of things and back in action, kind of, covering all the good wrestling news and stuff that's been happening. Of course, if you are brand new, make sure you hit that subscribe button on myself, but most importantly, on my guests here. They've been making some great content throughout all the time that I've been here and away as well. So make sure you go ahead and show them some love. They got an amazing watch along that they're going to be doing every Friday, which we're going to get to a little bit later on, so that way they could promote their show and stuff. But we're going to get right into it, guys. WrestleDream Saturday. We had a very interesting Title Tuesday. I know me and Asa talked about it a tad bit on his live show this past Tuesday night, how I was not a fan. Hologram was cool, but otherwise it was okay. A lot of talking. Felt like a Bold and the Beautiful episode. Nice little soap opera for sure. So we'll have a lot to discuss with all of that. But what did you guys think of Title Tuesday? Let's talk about it briefly before we kind of get into WrestleDream. Did this kind of feel like I know you haven't fully watched it just yet, so we won't go too deep into it. I don't want to ruin things for you.
No, it's fine. I already read everything. It's fine.
Okay. But Asa, briefly before we get into the show, how did you feel about the promos? Because that's the main focus. I feel like we, for AEW fans that watched this past Tuesday, are kind of scratching our heads about. Maybe that all the promos didn't deliver. Maybe it didn't really build to this amazing card that we have in front of us here for this coming Saturday. Do you feel like a lot of these promos delivered and made you even more excited for this pay-per-view? Or do you feel like maybe there was just a lot of filler that kind of took place to just kill the 2 hours of AEW Title Tuesday?
Yeah, I thought the promos pretty much all were good. The only problem for me is that there were too many. I mean, it's, too much time. I don't think that's what anyone wants out of AEW, that much just talking. We were talking about it, and I said it's not Title Tuesday, it's Talking Tuesday. But yeah, all the promos were good, and I thought built well for the pay-per-view. But yeah, just too much talking. That's it.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of feel the same way about it as well. I felt like there was a lot of conversations being had and being made, especially over on the whole show itself. A lot of filler of the show itself in its entirety. We got some really good matches throughout it, though, in essence. Of course, the returning Jay White, which we all knew, and stuff like that, which is setting up for now WrestleDream against none other than Hangman Page. But let's get right into it, guys, because that's what we came here for. This is what the card is looking like as of right now, as it stands. Of course, the main event will be none other than Jon Moxley versus Bryan Danielson. We have that triple threat for the International Championship with Ricochet, Konosuke, and Ospreay. We have the women's title match between Willow and Mariah, TNT between Jack Perry and Shibata, tag team against Party and Bucks. Of course, the ROH with Briscoe and Jericho, Hologram and Beast Mortis, which was just announced today, a 2 out of 3 pinfalls match, which is very exciting to see Hologram getting his big pay-per-view debut, as well as Darby and Brody King, which Darby had the open challenge and Brody King answered. And of course, like we said, Hangman and Jay White in singles competition. So let's start it off with none other than Jay White and Hangman Adam Page. We kind of had a brief build to this, as we know, but we'll start with you, Kay. How do you see this panning out? Do you think it's Hangman's night or is it Jay's night?
So I cheated back and forth on this one, and to be honest, I rolled like a D20 or a D100 for some of my answers. But then sometimes I rolled the dice, and then I was like, I don't agree with it, and so I rolled the dice and got Hangman, but then I was like, I don't agree with it. And so then I asked Asa what he thought, which normally we don't talk about it, but this is the hardest pay-per-view I've ever picked. And so I went with Jay White. He's like just coming back. He doesn't need to lose in his first pay-per-view. Like,
right.
That was really dumb. So that's why I ended up going with Jay White.
Yeah. And also he's on the hunt for that AEW gold that supposedly he never lost, but he lost it to my guy. So, I mean, technically you're a loser in my eyes. But Asa, who do you got coming out on top between Jay White and, of course, Hangman Adam Page?
Yeah, like Kay said, it was tough to pick, and as she said, also, I think this has been the toughest AEW pay-per-view to pick for me. Usually I just go right down and pick everybody, but this was tough. But yeah, like you were saying a minute ago, very short build, not enough build. Like for me, this should have waited for the next pay-per-view, and it really could have been something. Really could have been a big rivalry.
Yeah,
I mean, it's still going to be a great match, I think. But just like I said, have a little more story. Have a little more about the feud, because the feud just started like this week.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, yeah, it's going to be a great match. And I teetered back and forth too. I thought Hangman lost on the last pay-per-view. So maybe he won't. Maybe he won't lose 2 in a row. He lost, right?
Who did he wrestle?
Swerve.
No,
he
won.
wrestled
He won.
Juice.
He wrestled who?
Juice Robinson last week.
No, on
No,
pay-per-view.
pay-per-view.
Last pay-per-view.
Then he wrestled. Oh wait, that was Grand Slam I'm thinking of. Yeah,
Who won, Juice or Hangman?
Hangman.
Oh well, fuck. Never mind.
Yeah.
But like Kay said, Jay White is just coming back. I don't see them putting a loss on him right away.
Right.
So yeah, I think Jay White wins.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm 100% on your guys' side for this one as well. I think Jay White, Sling Blade, Switchblade is definitely in his prime, and he's ready to go after not only Hangman just to kind of get that ring rust off of him, but also go after the other person that wronged him for that AEW World Championship title many, many, many moons ago now. But yeah, I got Jay White on this one as well. So I think that's definitely an easy pick for this one. So let's go to the next one now, that being the open challenge between Darby Allin and Brody King. I know me and Kay were talking about this just a little bit ago and stuff, but we both agreed that this promo that we saw out of the two was probably the most realistic between Darby and Brody. They felt like there was something more to it than just wrestling. It felt like there was a bond between the two that were coming up in the Indies and, of course, in ROH where Brody King was. And then after the whole debacle with ROH, not knowing where to go and kind of losing his job in essence, Tony Khan then buying Ring of Honor and Darby saying, hey, listen, I believe in Brody King. You should take him on as a wrestler here in AEW. And then eventually Brody King came over. There's a little bit of realism. There's a little bit of more of a personal tension behind who deserves this number one spot, which I like. I like when wrestlers and companies and storylines build on that realism of the matches itself. It sets up something a little bit more drastic. There's something actually on the line and a stake that's a little bit higher than themselves when it comes to just trying to get a number one title shot for the big, the big cheese itself. So, Kay, we'll start with you again. Darby, Brody, who do we got? And do you think this will eventually lead this year to an AEW World Championship title opportunity?
For Darby or Brody?
For Darby or Brody.
Oh. Well, first of all, no, I don't think this is going to lead there this year. We only have one more pay-per-view after this year, and
Two more.
But
Full Gear and World's End.
Ew, I forgot about Full Gear. Okay, then maybe. So this is another one that I was super stuck on, and that I rolled a d20 and then didn't go with what it said. So I picked Darby Allin. I hesitated because I wasn't sure. There's only a certain time of year where you can hike Mount Everest.
Yeah.
And everybody knows that's like where he's heading eventually. And so I was like, if it's anytime soon, then he's definitely not winning. But it's April through May, like mid-April through mid-May. So I'm going Darby Allin because he can't go climb a mountain. And between the two of them, I think Darby is much closer to a title shot. Plus, they better throw him a bone after making him give up his #1 contender match to fucking Jon Moxley. Like, they owe Darby. They owe him everything.
I feel you. Okay. Good point. Asa, how do you feel about it all? Who do you think?
Another tough one. Like Kay said, yeah, Darby, he's calling himself the face of the company. Excuse me. He was the #1 contender. And Moxley won. So, you kind of feel like, he might be due for a victory.
Mm-hmm.
But we just saw this match like 3 or 4 weeks ago, something like that, on Dynamite, I think it was. And Darby won. So originally I put down Darby to win, but I just have a feeling, Brody King's going to win.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, that can add to Darby's character some and add to like how, pissed off and determined he is. And then it's not such a bad loss because Brody King's like twice as big as he is,
It's huge. He's a mammoth.
So.
He's a mammoth. He's a woolly mammoth for sure. I agree with Asa. I think it is Brody's night. I think finally we're going to see Brody start stepping into the bigger singles competition. Someone like Big Bill might also see him there as well with this whole learning tree situation, which we'll get to in a little bit later on. I think Brody is on that path now to a singles run, whether it's going to be for the World Championship or not 100% sure. Maybe there might be a little bit of a stumble along the way going into the rest of this year, World's End or Full Gear. But I do have Brody coming out on top on this one for sure. So, all right, now.
Well, I hope you're both wrong. So, neither.
I mean, I'll be cheering for Darby. I just don't think he's winning.
I think there's also a lot of it's pretty well known that there's a lot of outside of the ring situations that Darby's dealing with that
oh really? I don't know anything about it.
I also
there's a couple of things that are not something we talk about that Darby's dealing with. That he needs to kind of get straightened out before possibly being the face of the company in that aspect or another. So there's that takes into accountability, especially with other companies and stuff kind of letting other things slide under the rug. Maybe AEW won't, and we'll kind of fix that before letting him get an opportunity. I'm happy that he's on TV. I'm happy he's making money, but I don't think title picture's in the grasp of him just yet.
Is it like a sex? Is it like a sex thing?
Yeah, there's a lot of like sexual bad things that happen
I think
with him and somebody.
A little about that,
that Darby needs to get himself a little checked in the right spot before, becoming the face of the company, especially if Danielson is leaving at the end of the year or Saturday, or let's say, Full Gear in November and everything, and he becomes the face of the company, especially with the other company sweeping a lot of those type of things underneath the rug and never really talking about it until a documentary, let's say, comes out, So I'd rather AEW do it right and just make sure that it's all said and done before making that guy the face of the company in that aspect.
I'm changing my pick. I didn't know
changing my pick.
Changing my pick.
Wow.
To Brody.
All right.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
I have no idea about any of that. I've been living under a rock, which is
It's
really
okay.
just a pile of papers to be graded. But
I kind of found
Not
out like a week or two ago, roughly.
Mhm.
I heard rumblings, and then some other very important people told me, and so on and so forth. And I read a little, and I was like, oh, okay.
Hmm.
So very interesting stuff. But yeah, on a lighter note, let's get to another match. It is none other than the Learning Tree himself, terrible gimmick, Chris Jericho. I hate this gimmick.
I love it.
Yeah, I love it.
Hate
I
this
love it.
gimmick.
It's
Hate
so
this
much
gimmick.
better than what he was doing before.
Oh,
Like
God,
nothing.
I'd rather him do anything else but this. Jericho versus Mark Briscoe for the ROH World Championship. And as we know, we got a very interesting world. I'm trying to think of my words now because I just had a brain fart. Jericho had a Learning Tree segment about a week ago, bringing out none other than Mark Briscoe and talking about how Jay could probably be the only one to beat him, and bringing up, unfortunately, Mark's brother's demise, and saying that he's probably the only man that could beat him as well. And of course, Mark cutting the promo this past Tuesday, letting him know that you now brought me to a realm that you didn't want to bring me to, but now you've made it a lot more personal than what it needs to be. And I hope Mark Briscoe stomps a mud hole in Jericho into his chest cavity and walks it dry. Absolutely. That's my pick. I got Briscoe. But I want to hear from you, Asa. Who do you got coming out of this as brand new or retaining ROH champion?
Another tough one.
Yeah.
But yeah, Briscoe's been a good champion. I don't know how much he actually appears on Ring of Honor. I don't watch Ring of Honor anymore, except the pay-per-views. But yeah, like you said, Jericho brought up his dead brother.
Yeah.
So that makes you think that Briscoe's going to get some revenge for that. But, Jericho's Learning Tree gimmick, I feel, it maybe needs a little more fire, a little more to it. And the belt might be that fire, and Jericho's teaching, and he's a champion, just to prove how good he is and how much he can teach, Brian Keith and Big Bill.
Right.
Tough one, but going with Mark Briscoe to retain the title. Yeah.
Okay.
I would never pick against Mark Briscoe, especially when someone brings up his dead brother. Plus, like, the Ocho sounds way cooler than the Nuevo. So I think he's not going to win another belt anytime soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Plus, I love Mark Briscoe. I just hope they beat the shit out of each other and there's lots of blood, which I think there will be. So it'll be good.
Yeah.
Looking forward to this match.
This one's like 50-50 to me. I could see it going either way very easily.
That's like 60-40.
Wow, 60-40 for you. Okay.
Mhm.
See, the biggest thing that I think that the Jericho's Learning Tree has done, and I was talking to Raz and a whole bunch of other amazing people that are here in the chat with us tonight, and just on the lives in general, that I think that the that the Learning Tree, the best thing that it's doing is giving Bill and Brian Keith an opportunity to finally learn the singles division a little bit differently than most people. I think Big Bill is possibly going on a singles run sometime soon, now being underneath the tree, I'll say, of Chris Jericho and all of his teachings. Jericho is one of the most well-taught, educational wrestlers of the time. He has been wrestling everywhere and anywhere for many, many years, 30 plus. And I think that putting Big Bill after his whole tag team situation didn't work well, and trying a singles run, but it wasn't catching on. but now catching on with the learning tree segment, I think now we could give that confidence back to Big Bill to run and have a very exciting singles run with him as a potential champion down the road. Same with Brian Keith. I think Brian Keith came out very strong, but they maybe just didn't have a direction of where to bring him and put him in the singles competition. And now with the learning tree, and I know that him and Rocky Romero going one-on-one for Rampage tomorrow night, there's still that hope of seeing where he could go and possibly being in the TNT card or maybe the International or going against Okada down the road or whoever, and it's just that itself, I think, is what's the most beneficial for this gimmick for these two guys. But I can't stand Jericho as the learning tree. I hate him waving and smiling. Like, that's just so annoying. The tree in the middle of the damn ring. Like, I just can't do it. I just can't.
Well, you're supposed to hate it.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, if that's the case, he's 5 out of 5 doing it for me because I can't stand it. Every time he comes out, I'm like, Christ, like we got to do this shit again. But at least we're giving Big Bill time and we're giving Brian Keith time. And I think they're two very talented people. So I'm very excited to see where they go. And hopefully this is nothing but beneficial for the both of them for their singles run in AEW.
I feel like since he's joined the learning tree, Brian Keith is not getting as much ring time.
No.
Like all his matches, even when he's won, have been just very brief. And like a few weeks ago on Rampage, I can't remember who was wrestling. Do you remember who that was, Asa?
No.
Well, on Rampage, they had a match that they like gave him significant time, and it's like, oh yeah, that guy is a good wrestler. Maybe they should have him wrestle instead of just repeating what Jericho says, like the last 2 words of his sentence angrily.
Yeah. I definitely excited to see where these two are going. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be very exciting, and I'm very excited to see where it's all going to end up. But now let's get to probably Ace's most anticipated match of the evening. None other than his boy Hologram versus the Beast Mortis. It was before he was called Black Taurus.
Yeah.
Yeah, before he was called Black Taurus, when he was he was doing House of Glory wrestling over here in New York as well as in AEW, but then they changed it to the Beast Mortis, which I think I like the Black Taurus better, honestly.
Mortos, like death.
Mortos.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I already kind of know my answer, and I feel like I know Ace's answer. So we'll go with K with this one. Who do you think is coming out on top between the two out of this 2 out of 3 pinfall?
Yeah, first of all, I'm so excited that it's a 2 out of 3 pinfall match.
Yeah, this is a very cool stipulation.
Yeah, this is definitely the match to which I am most looking forward. And I don't think I can live in this household and say anyone besides Hologram, but also his
you could live in there.
His winning streak is not going to end against a guy who hasn't won a singles match in AEW. So
that's fair.
He's winning.
Okay. Okay.
Although I think Beast Mortis will get a pinfall, and possibly LFI or Jake the Snake will interrupt in some manner.
Possibly. Yeah. That's a good pick. That's a good call. I'm excited that it's Hologram's pay-per-view debut. And he's been on a really great streak. He had an amazing match against Commander this past Tuesday for Title Tuesday, which was really, really exciting to watch. And I also like the fact that we're doing a different stipulation that we haven't really seen out of AEW in quite some time. 2 out of 3 falls. Like we normally get the title matches, the lights out matches, the, stadium mayhem, all the regular shit all the time. But a 2 out of 3 falls for these guys, I feel like it fits them perfectly with the style of wrestling that they both have. And yeah, it seems good. It seems exciting. And yeah, I'm pretty stoked for it. But Asa, we already know who you are, but who do you got? Just in case people don't know who you got.
Yeah, so I think either this or the international title match is probably going to be the match of the night. two out of three falls is like a traditional Mexican lucha libre. They do a lot of 2 out of 3 falls matches.
Yeah.
So I think that's where we're coming from here. So Hologram, yeah, he's amazing. He's undefeated. I don't see a reason to end his undefeated streak just because he's amazing. And like you said, it's his pay-per-view debut. So maybe not have him lose in his pay-per-view debut. But also, the Beast Mortos just joined La Facción Ingobernables,
Right.
So maybe he's going to get a little of a push, to get that faction over. And, if Hologram's going to lose, it would be a good place to lose because, the Beast Mortos is just, very strong. He could just like break Hologram over his knee if they wanted to. But like Kay said,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Beast Mortos has won a singles match. So I'm gonna go with Hologram. Yeah.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. I figured you were going with Hologram. I thought maybe there was a chance you're going to throw us a curveball and be like, oh, no, it's totally Beast Mortis. No questions asked. And I was like, oh, wow. But I know Hologram is your boy. So I'm excited for you for this one. And I'm excited for the match itself. I think the match itself is going to be definitely one to talk about after this weekend. All right, now we're going back into the titles, and we're going to start off with none other than the Young Bucks versus Private Party for the AEW Tag Team Championships. These guys have faced each other many, many, many moons ago, and almost was the Tag Team Champions from the Young Bucks during that time. But now, Private Party, as of last week, has finally gotten their opportunity to possibly shine over in Seattle for those World Tag Team titles. Asa, we'll start with you. Who do you got? Do you think it's Private Party's night and we're going to have you doing shots all night? Or are the Young Bucks and the EVPs going to just steal another win and take the carpet from underneath us?
Yeah, the Young Bucks are on a roll. I like what they're doing with the EVP stuff. I wish they would do a little more. Have them mess with stuff a little more. But overall, I think it's been good, and they're good in the ring. But Private Party over the last few months, they've improved a lot. I think. Sometimes they still botch moves, but it's because they're going for like unique things. They try a lot of different stuff. And yeah, I just feel like it's Private Party's night. Yeah, give them the belts and get them over more. Yeah, I think Private Party's winning.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Really? Yes. On that one? Okay. Okay. Talk to me. What are you thinking?
First of all, I think they're keeping the belts until Kenny Omega comes back with Ibushi. Okay. And they're going to do them versus the Young Bucks since right before Kenny got injured, he was supposed to have a tag match against the Young Bucks for the belts. Mm-hmm. And Ibushi is intentionally waiting till Kenny's like totally cleared before he comes back in America because he's cleared to wrestle and has been wrestling in Japan. So why give them the belts and leave it all this time just to give it to freaking Private Party?
Well, the Young Bucks could just get them back. So that way the Young Bucks are still the champs and then Private Party has gotten over more. So that would work out for everybody.
They have improved. They are not AEW tag belt ready.
Wow.
Wow. Look at who you're putting them in the same level with if they get the tag belts. Like, are they at the level of FTR, of Kenny Omega and Hangman?
This is the clip of the night.
Like, I just don't, no. They need to become less annoying. They need to become more consistent in the ring, and they need to get rid of the fucking silly string. I hate it. It's that and the Paradise Lock, least favorite moves in the entire company. Hate them.
I don't mind the silly string.
I don't mind. Well, I do mind the silly string. We are grown-ups here, but
stupid.
It's not my favorite move, but whatever, it's fine.
What is the point of it? It does nothing. Like, what is the point of it? He's moving away from his target and then has to physically change direction on his own, basically, roll himself off his brother's back to give him more momentum. Like, that's not how momentum works.
Well, one, I don't think they're brothers, but two, it's...
Oh, I forgot they were brothers.
It's kinetic energy.
Yeah, I was thinking...
It's kinetic energy. He's getting this, and then the energy goes back the other way.
Oh, Top
Wow.
Flight Brothers. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but like,
I
give it to fucking Top Flight. They've been ready for a push way longer. Way longer.
But they haven't been winning anything. That's the difference. Private Party have been winning lately.
They've been winning the last like 2 to 3 weeks. Prior to that,
Last like 2 months.
on like Rampage and in dark matches.
Okay.
No.
I'm letting y'all go. This is your show now. Y'all go 1-on-1 right
Yeah,
here.
They got such a great story, with back, like 5 years ago, Private Party beat the Young Bucks in the first round of the tournament to determine the first tag champions.
Yeah.
And I just think having them win the belts, like I said, you can give them back to the Young Bucks in a month or two, even if you want. And then the Young Bucks are the champions to face Omega and Ibushi, and Private Party is more over than they were. I think, like I said, I think it works out for all 6
I'm
of
gonna
those
take myself
guys.
off this camera right here. And let
Sorry. But so you're giving it to Private Party before like Kings of the Black Throne.
That's how it happens sometimes.
Yeah, it's stupid.
You got to be in the right place at the right time, and I think they're in the right place.
I could not disagree with you more. This might be the most we've ever disagreed on match results. Like, if they do that, I will hate it.
Oh, no. You got to be cheering for Private Party.
Wow.
No.
Yeah.
That's
I don't have
crazy.
to be. And just to know, like, I don't hate Private Party, but
I don't know. That sounds like a lot of hate for Private Party. You told them they ain't even worthy of the tag team division.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn.
It's just a high level. Like, this isn't WWE who's had the belts around for so long that, like, they've had, like, a shit show of tag teams go through as well as good ones. Like, I can't name, besides, like, Big Bill and Ricky Starks, which wasn't a bad tag team. It was just, like, a weird tag team. I can't name someone that I thought wasn't deserving of the belts that has had them. Can you? I mean, like, give it to the fucking Outrunners.
No, not yet.
I'm joking.
No.
I'm joking about the Outrunners. Yeah. So, what do you think, Dylan? Do you want me to tell you how wrong you are?
I got Private Party as well.
No.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's because I just don't like what the Young Bucks have done. I don't really care for the Young Bucks being tag team champions. I don't like. I'm just not a fan of the Bucks entirely, and I think that they've gotten very stale as tag team champions. There's not been really any exciting moments as a tag team champion that has impressed me that they retained, and I'm like, wow, they totally deserved it. No, I'd rather see Private Party get it, even if it's for a month, and do something with it. Maybe start getting Top Flight back into the mixture. Maybe get the Outrunners up there for contention. Start doing something different with the tag team division. I find that the tag team division gets a little bit of a fresh coat of paint, and if that the way to do it is with Private Party as your tag team champions, then okay. I'd rather take the silly string for a month than have the Young Bucks continuously overtan themselves and come out with that shitty vests and horrible theme song one more time. I think after Saturday, if I got to see that shit anymore, I'm gonna lose it. I'm literally just gonna lose it because it's just too much for me. It's too much. They've had it for too long. They've been champions for too long, and if it was FTR, I would feel the same way. I don't like champions that I wasn't a fan when Roman held it for so goddamn long, but I understood it because it was a marketing thing. It sold. It made people want to buy into the idea of who's going to dethrone him and everything. And it's the same kind of concept with AEW, with the tag team division. Who is it going to be? Who's going to take it from the Bucks? Who's taking down the EVPs? But at the same time, it's like, I get it. The EVPs are supposed to be the bad guys, the guys that don't want to have change. They want to keep things the same. It's that everybody else is underneath the thumb of the EVPs in the sense of booking and the way things are supposed to be. But I want change. I like a little bit of change. I would like a little bit of new colors in the tag team division where we could have a conversation like, wow, the tag team division going into full gear looks really strong. Like we have some really good tag team matches coming into Dynamite next week. Like I want to start talking about that than just relying on singles divisions and the main people that we always see. We need to start giving some other, people some chances. I've always felt that way with anybody, but I feel like the Bucks have held it for way too long, and it's time for a change. I think the tag team division needs a nice fresh coat of paint, and I think the Private Party could do that for sure.
I agree with all of that, except for the Private Party can do that part.
Well, listen, if it was somebody else, I would have chose the other person as well.
Yeah,
I think with Private Party could bring in Top Flight. Private Party can, work with Action Andretti. Private Party could work with the Outrunners. Private Party could do a lot maybe with the Acclaimed, even though we don't want to see the Acclaimed doing the same thing over again. But like we could have that nostalgia of ex-tag team champions, them winning against another ex-tag team champions that held it for a very long time as well and was a crowd favorite. Them finally getting the crowd on their side again, becoming real conversationalists when it comes to being a tag team champion for, like I said, I don't care if they lose it at Full Gear. You know what I mean? Like, as long as the thing is not a redo of what we're seeing Saturday at Full Gear, then I'm fine with it. I'm cool with the Outrunners taking the belt. I'm cool with Top Flight taking the belt. Like, this belt doesn't need to be on somebody for 6-7 months, like a world championship, a women's championship, maybe a TNT run or a continental run. Like these tag team championships should be something that we kind of fluctuate, almost hot potato the belts in a sense of giving new tag teams opportunities to shine and be on TV, whether it's on Rampage or Collision or Dynamite or what have you, but just something better than, oh, the Bucks are champions again. Oh, FTR's champion again. Oh, it's the Acclaimed again. It's like, how many more times can you eat chicken and rice without getting bored? Like it gets boring, it gets stale, and I'm stale. It's stale to me. So listen, Private Party's the people, then I'll take shots. I'll take some shots for Private Party. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. So
I'm gonna go off topic for a minute. We're talking about people, like I said, about Private Party being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
Kind of making the division over. Like you said, a fresh coat of paint. And I've just been thinking in like 6 months, 7 months, I tell you who I think should be world champion, and he needs more of a push. But I think Big Bill.
Yeah, I do too.
I think fans love him. He can talk. Yep. He's great in the ring. He looks great. What I think is, like, eventually, like I said, give him more of a singles push, obviously, and 6-7 months, give him the world title, and then finally Will Ospreay makes a run at the world title. So then when he finally wins it, he's defeated this giant to win the world title. That's what I would love to see. But
and I think that's a great idea, and I think that's a good way of also bringing in people like Brody King into the title picture, people like Powerhouse Hobbs, people like Bobby Lashley when he finally shows up, people like a Swerve Strickland coming around again, and Ospreay and MJF and maybe a Konosuke and Ricochet and stuff like that. We don't need to always, and I get it, they're the big money names or the big money market. Like that's how business works. Like, whether it's Pepsi or Coke, like Pepsi's always going to restock the regular and the diet always, every time, every single day, because it's the big sellers. That's what's bringing in the people. But, those other flavors that do sell well, but maybe aren't pushed as well as others, give you a little bit of a difference of like taste and stuff, a different palate. And I think that we're at a point where we can start testing the waters with new people like a Big Bill or, a Konosuke as champion or Ricochet as champion, or, we don't need Moxley as champion again, but if it happens, it happens. Like, I just don't want to always have to rely on these big money name branded people all the time. It just takes away the value of what AEW offers us as a different wrestling company. And I think that's what AEW is. Like, AEW is that, you have the WWE that sticks to their name brands, and they stick to their people, and they stick to their big money names and their big money players that are going to always bring in the hype, bring in the money for the video games and the t-shirts and the movies, et cetera, because that's the gold standard. But then when you come to someone like AEW, where they kind of try new things and give crazy opportunities to people that many of us would be like, there ain't no way in hell that would work here. But that's the point, though. Like, that was the point of being the competition. That's the point of being on the opposite team, because these people are willing to try to make a Konosuke a champion one day, or make a Hangman lose to someone like a Danielson in a crazy way because of a cradle roll or something like that throws people off and are pissing people off at the same time. Like, that's the point of AEW in my eyes. But then when they continuously fall back on the same, oh, we'll just give it to Moxley. Oh, we'll just give it to him. Oh, we'll just give it to the Bucks. Oh, we'll just give it to him. It's like, okay, great. But like, what about all these other people that you just built up and now kind of squash those stories and squash those dreams of, even if it's for a month, I'm cool with month swapping belts. If it gives somebody some TV time, Big Bill's a great person to do that for. Powerhouse Hobbs coming back. I'd be very excited to see that as well. Get them in the ring. It could be one hell of a match. You know,
can I point out that in the chat, Wolf says he disagrees with me, and then
yes,
he has a hot take, which is exactly what I said.
How do you see the chat?
You have to click more and then go to comments.
Where's
So yeah, he said, I personally disagree with Kay, and then like 4 comments later, it says bold take here. Bucks retain. Omega returns with Ibushi with him. Like, that's what I
so that wasn't, so then you don't disagree. You know what I mean? Like, they don't disagree. So, all right, you know, shooting yourself in the foot there. But, oh well, is what it is. But, all right, enough of all of that. Let's get back into the actual show itself. Let's get into the women's match. And again, as we've stressed it countless times, women's matches on a pay-per-view. Again, very disappointing. Whatever. No one listens to us. We just continuously talk behind cameras and microphones, and no one pays attention. So we'll keep doing it until one day they do, right? It is none other. What?
I was just gonna. This is the first one in a long time that there's only been one women's match.
Yeah.
Because like I felt like, oh my gosh, they're listening to the fans.
Yeah.
And like even last time, like if you include the 0 hour, there were like 3 or 4 women's matches. I think in the last one, weren't there? Like, because there was a mixed tag match on the 0 hour. There were Saraya had a tag match, or had a wrestling match. Oh wait, no, she didn't. She just came out to complain about not having it. That was all in. Never mind. Anyway, this is the first one I could think of in a long time. With no second women's match anywhere on the card.
I mean, they could still have it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's 2 days away, and Tony Khan, is famous for booking stuff at the last minute. So
20 minutes before 0 hour, we get another women's
Yeah.
match. You know what, though? If that happens, I'll take it. I'll be very happy. But Mariah May versus Long Island's own Willow Nightingale for the AEW Women's Championship. Kay, we're going to start with you. Do you see Mariah coming out victorious like majority of the internet? Or do we see Willow Nightingale finally getting her time to shine and bring some gold back to Long Island?
I would love for Willow to win. Like, I am 100% for her in this match, but I think there's almost no chance of her winning it. Mariah May got the belt like maybe 2 or 3 pay-per-views ago, whatever All In was. And I don't feel like they did like a year-long storyline to get that belt in her hands to then take it away so quickly with someone who she has no story with.
Yeah.
So even though I think Willow's ready,
there's a little story. There's a little
story between Willow and Mariah.
Well, Mariah attacked Willow, and then Willow returned the attack.
I don't count that as a story. You need an
It's a
actual
story. Yeah, it's just a little story.
Yeah, no, it doesn't count.
Like 3 sentences. That's
yeah.
3 sentences.
Yeah, if you can sum it up,
that's a blurb.
That's
That's like a comment in the newspaper. Like,
yeah.
I saw the killer. He had black hair. Like, that was it.
Yeah, so just I mean, I don't know who I think is going to eventually take the belt away from her, but I mean, maybe it'll be Willow at some point, but I just don't think now is that time.
Yeah.
But I'm for her, 100%. I love Willow.
Yeah. Asa?
Everything Kay said, I agree with. Except I'm not for Willow. I'm for Mariah May. She's great.
Yeah, you can never come to Long Island with that type of attitude. I'm going to tell you that right now. You're not going to be safe. You're not going to be safe in Long Island.
It would be cool to see Willow win, but like Kay said, I just don't see the point when Tony Storm had this great run. You take it off her, put it on Mariah May, and Mariah May is doing well so far. I just don't see why you would take the belt off of her. So,
I mean, it would be nice.
I could see Willow maybe getting like a DQ win, or maybe we get a draw or something like that. I could see that. But I'm not picking that. I'm picking Mariah May to retain, to win. Yeah.
I wish that she would wrestle more. Like she was wrestling way more when she was like Tony Storm's shadow, you know?
Yeah.
I don't understand that idea of like giving someone a belt and then having them stop wrestle essentially, you know? Like it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah,
I don't know. Ask Mercedes. She's notorious for that. And she has 2 belts. So.
And it's not on the card.
Good pick there, TK. Happy birthday to TK, by the way. Turns 42 today.
Yep. I didn't think he was that old.
Yeah, we all have to say something positive. I saw someone in the comments on TikTok when they were celebrating. Goes, the comment was, "He's alive." That was it. That was the nice positive thing to say. He's alive. So I was like, damn. All right. Well, thanks for AEW. Yeah.
I'll be forever indebted to him.
Yeah.
For the creation of AEW. It's one of my favorite things.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, he's made this, awesome company, which, I mean, God, if they didn't exist, I'm not sure I would be watching wrestling. I probably would. I'd probably be watching like indies and Mexican wrestling.
TNA.
I don't know about that. TNA didn't impress me that much, but El Hijo del Vikingo is going to be on their next pay-per-view, Bound for Glory, so I'll be watching that for sure.
Vikingo, I guess I can't pronounce his full name, clearly. Vikingo is fighting Nick Nemeth here in House of Glory next Friday.
Wow.
I told you about that. I sent you a screenshot of it.
And Zilla Fatu will also be here as well.
Yeah, we're going to watch that because those are on pay-per-view, yeah?
Yep. I'm trying to go to the show.
Oh,
so
cool.
You might see me on the TV. So
you said Friday or next Friday?
Next Friday. Yeah, the show's at 8. So I'm trying to see if anybody will go with me and everything. Otherwise, I'm going by myself, and that's cool too. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I got Willow. I'm a Long Islander. Long Island Wrestling Podcast. I mean, if I choose the opposition, then what am I doing here on the internet calling myself Long Island? So I'm picking Long Island. Absolutely.
Can I say what women's match I want to have added to the card?
Which one?
I want to see Chris Statlander versus Camille.
Me too.
I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
It looks like they're heading in a full gear direction, but they're like not ready for that yet. So I thought this would be like a good step on the way to her facing Mercedes. But I just want to see Camille wrestle like an actual non-squashing match.
I think that's full gear.
Yeah.
Statlander, Camille. I think they're going to build that for full gear. I do. And I think it's a really good full gear match. Mm-hmm. Honestly, it's going to be. But
yeah, that would be good second women's match because, like we're saying, there definitely should be one. I mean, we got 9 matches. I don't think it's too much to ask to have 7 men's matches and 2 women's matches.
Yeah, I mean, he's willing to put on 20 matches and start the show at 7 and end at 1:30 in the morning. Yeah. So I mean, adding a women's match, what is that really going to do? Like seriously, dude, seriously. But yeah, no, I'm very excited. Hopefully, we get something there, but we'll see. But nonetheless, we have 3 more matches to go before the card is over, as crazy as that sounds. And it is the next one up. Jack Perry, a.k.a. the Scapegoat, TNT champion, versus the iPhone wrestler himself, Shibata, because I can't pronounce his first name and I don't want to butcher it. So, Shibata, yeah, him. And, the iPhone wrestler and the Scapegoat are fighting one-on-one for the TNT belt. We're going to start with UK. Who do you have coming out on top for this one?
Jack Perry. Hands down, Jack Perry.
Okay.
I love Shibata. He just brings joy to my heart. So I would love for him to win, but like this is one that was not difficult for me. Like
Yeah.
this was an immediate circle Perry's name. Like with all they're trying to do with him, they're not going to have him lose to Shibata, who hasn't been on television much recently. You know,
That's fair.
those are
That's
my
fair.
thoughts. Okay.
Asa?
Yeah, everything Kay said. That's
You
another
should
one.
always just have me go first, so he can just agree with me. I like it.
Yeah, everything she said. And I mean, Perry, he's getting a push, of course. So I don't see why you kill that push by losing to Shibata, a match that was made, like a week ago, a couple days ago.
Yeah.
And Perry's driving around his like scapegoat mobile, whatever. And he, literally built the belt with his own hands, smelted the metal and all that shit. So
It
I don't
was a
see
cool
why
video.
I don't see why you take that away from him. I think his ownership of the belt, kind of goes along with his scapegoat mobile and his personality. And like Kay said, this was not hard at all. Yeah, I think Perry retains for sure.
Okay. Perry. I wasn't picking anybody else. Don't get me wrong, I love Shibata as well. I think he's great,
Yeah.
but no. Just no. All right. I'm saving my favorite match that I'm looking forward to for the last.
Okay.
And it is not the next one that we're going to talk about. But it is Danielson versus Moxley. 1-on-1 for the AEW World Championship. Now, of course, the biggest stipulation with all of these matches that Daniel Bryanson is doing is that eventually one of these matches will be his final match because he will retire the moment someone takes off the AEW World Championship belt from him, whether that's Saturday, Full Gear, World's End. Hopefully by World's End, it's all said and done for Danielson. He's had an amazing career, both from Ring of Honor to New Japan to AEW to WWE. He's had an amazing career, amazing time in professional wrestling, but between injuries and everything else, his body's definitely gone through the ringer. I mean, just look at AJ Styles, came back last Friday and boom, now he's injured again. Literally first 3 minutes in the match, done. Yeah. I thought it was a fake, but nope, he's getting an MRI. So prayers up for AJ Styles. But like Danielson, he's very accident prone. The elbow, the shoulder, the neck. He always has the tape on his whole entire back. So he himself is also very accident prone. And Moxley, well, he's willing to die in any way, shape, and form for wrestling. So that's definitely, you're battling a demon when you're battling John Moxley, is what I've been told. So we'll see how that goes. Asa, Moxley becoming new champion or ex-champion one more time? Or is Danielson walking out of Seattle with another one?
Yeah, so Danielson, one of the best wrestlers in the world. It's been nice. He got a world title. But John Moxley has this new heel faction and this new character, which I love the character. He's more intense than he was. And it's weird. He said something like, there's a greater purpose to him, beating up Bryan Danielson. And, I think a lot of people think Shane McMahon is coming in and he might be the one, with Moxley and Shafir and those folks, But yeah, I've learned never pick against John Moxley. So I think Moxley is winning the belt for the fourth time. I think this is it for Danielson. He's in his home state. I think that's a good way to say goodbye to his full-time career. And I'm sure, next year or something, he'll come back, like he said, and work, just a match here and there. But yeah, with Moxley, with this new faction and getting a push, I said give it to him. And it's just kind of like what's best for business. Who needs it? If Danielson's going to drop it, and this is his retirement match, who could really use it? And it's been, John Moxley has been, one of the top guys in the company, if not the top guy. And yeah, I mean, he keeps getting rewarded for it because he's so consistent. And yeah, that's what I think's happening. Yeah.
I just want to say before I go to UK really quickly that nonetheless, we have watched the tour, retirement tour of Danielson, all three of us. We were at Revolution where Danielson wrestled before he became AEW World Champion. So we will be a part of the Danielson retirement tour as it stands, which is very exciting to say that because I've always wanted to see Danielson wrestle at least once in my life. And I did. I got to. And I'm very happy I got to, of course, with you guys, which was amazing in itself. And then seeing him wrestle, I forgot who he wrestled though. I don't know who the hell he wrestled at Revolution. I couldn't even, I had to Google it. And in a second, I will Google it. But yeah, it is. It's very exciting to say that we are a part of the Danielson retirement tour of his possible last year in AEW for a little while. But back to the show. Kay, who do you got going into the sweet victory?
Well, it's a no bones about wrestling rule that you never bet against Jon Moxley. So as much as I would love to, because I don't think he needs this title, and I think it's stupid to have him beat Danielson and retire Danielson, where instead you could be pushing up to like the highest level a star from your company, like originally, like give it to Hangman. Or I guess just like not a WWE superstar that came over. I guess that's my point. So like give it to Darby, give it to Hangman, give it back to Swerve. Like Moxley does not need the belt for the fourth time. That is ridiculous to me. And I hate so much that he beat Darby and took Darby's. While I do agree with Asa that this character is a little more interesting than the old Moxley's character, it just seems so fake. Like he just like we watched an Arn Anderson match before we came on your show, and I was like, that's what Moxley is trying to do. Like he's trying to seem like he's a guy who's a fighter, and he like comes off the street and is just looking for a fight. But it just seems so insincere from him. I just Moxley. Mm-mm. But anyway, so I'm picking him. So that's super exciting. I hope someone takes it from him immediately. But yeah, for all the reasons Asa said, I think Brian's going to be done because they're in Spokane and he's been saying he needs neck surgery for forever. I don't know who they would have. I don't know a better place for him to lose, like in his own mind would be my what.
Sorry, I'm sure they're going to do some sort of injury angle, where Moxley and his crew, further injure his neck or do this or do that, some sort of injury angle where they really, beat the shit out of Danielson. And like I said, we don't see him till next year, I think, or something,
Right.
But John fucking Moxley, give it to Orange Cassidy. Like, he has worked his ass off for this company.
Well, that would be a good feud. Cassidy versus Moxley, that would be a great feud.
I want to see who
Cassidy versus Moxley, or, like I said, Ospreay versus Moxley. I mean, Ospreay could be he hasn't been in the world title scene, but obviously he could be any day.
Right.
I think they're just waiting, for the time being right. And I think at this point, Moxley's a bigger draw than Ospreay, I think. I mean, not a better wrestler, no, but a bigger money draw. So just Ospreay needs to, get his name out there a little more, and then I think he'll challenge for the title. But yeah, like Kay said, I think Orange Cassidy has been great. That would be a great feud. He and Moxley, like the most serious wrestler versus the silliest wrestler in the company. I think that'd be cool to see.
Plus, they both have like huge factions behind them.
Right. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, absolutely. I this is the first time I'll ever say this. I'm actually enjoying Jon Moxley as a wrestler, as much as I've hated on this man for a very long time. I don't know what it is. I think maybe it's the confidence I feel now in him as he's portraying this character. His wrestling style is just different for me. It seems a lot more believable. The promos are really good and more believable. I hate him talking in riddles, but like it kind of makes sense why. It seems that it's a perfect sweet song where Danielson will take his final bow here at his home state. And of course at WrestleDream, giving it to Moxley. Like Wolf, I too would like to see him beat Moxley at least once and say, all right, it's done. It's over. Maybe he retires in Jersey or he retires at Florida, as long as Florida's not completely underwater with these terrible hurricanes that are happening right now to that great state. We'll kind of see how that goes and whatnot. But yeah, I'm not gonna bet against Moxley either. I'm gonna say Moxley as well, and maybe an injury angle, maybe Shane McMahon. I don't know what's gonna come of all of this, but possibilities are endless with AEW, and that for sure is going to be something to keep our eyes on for sure. And I googled it. The match that we saw was Eddie Kingston and Bryan Danielson for that Continental belt that was supposed to be really big and then turned into nothing. It turned into just a regular belt. Like it just turned into a regular belt. But that was the match, and we also saw Will Ospreay's debut in AEW, which is a very, very big significance for Ospreay and for us as fans of New Japan as well a little bit. And Konosuke's match with him against Ospreay, which is the one that I was the most excited for because none other than my boy Konosuke I thought was going to, beat. I was going to walk out after that match, after that loss. I was like, all right, I'm done here. Like, how dare they do my boy like that? But nonetheless, we're going to see these guys back in action, as this is the match that I am most excited for by far. It is the triple threat international championship match against the brand new AEW signee Ricochet, Will Ospreay, and Konosuke Takeshita, as my boy MJF would say, all going for the big gold itself, the international championship. I already know who I want, and I know I'm probably going to be the loser of the night for this one, but we'll start with UK. Who do you have coming out on top as possibly a new international champion or retaining international champion?
This was so hard to pick.
Yep.
I rolled a D100 for this one, and it came up for Ospreay, and I was not like, oh no, I didn't mean for that to happen. So I went with it, because I guess in my heart somewhere, I think Ospreay is going to retain. I'd be fine with any of these three winning the belt. Like I don't care who wins because I love them all. It might be kind of nice for Ospreay to lose it so that he can just move up to a bigger title scene. But yeah, I mean, I think I would love for Takeshita to win a belt. And if this is the belts that he needs to win, take it off Ospreay. But I just love all of them. I hope everyone has a good time.
Yeah, no one's going to have a good time if my guy doesn't win, okay? Nobody's going to have a good time if my guy doesn't win. I'm going to start rioting. Asa, who do you got?
Well, yeah, another tough one. I've never had a pay-per-view so tough to pick as this, I think. Usually maybe I have one or two that I'm not sure on. This, I had like 5 I wasn't sure on.
Mm-hmm.
But Ospreay, he's on a great run. Probably the best wrestler in the world right now, I think. Ricochet, though, is undefeated still. Hadn't had a ton of matches, but he's undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I could see that happening. But also Takeshita, has been performing well for quite a bit. And he's in the Callis family, and so I could definitely see Callis fucking over Ospreay.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I say it, I did have Ospreay, but I'm changing my mind to Takeshita. Yeah,
you can come to Long Island. You're safe. You can come to Long Island. Listen, my thing is this. I think, and I've said this, I can't even count how many times now, and everybody's called me psycho for saying this and thinking this, but I believe in my heart of hearts, Konosuke Takeshita deserves a championship of some caliber with the mouthpiece of Don Callis. Don Callis is 100% the heel of AEW when it comes to managers right now, and is doing a hell of a job exactly doing that. His faction is doing well, but can be doing better. Powerhouse Hobbs not being around definitely hurts him. having Fletcher there, good. Now losing Ospreay, and only having Konosuke is definitely good enough, but can be elevated to bigger and better heights. I think in my heart of hearts that Konosuke deserves this title more than the other two, for sure. I think Ricochet's too new. It's a little too quick to give him a title belt. Don't get me wrong. Absolutely could see him giving this belt a run for its money one more time. Maybe that's how he gets it, is by pinning Ricochet and screwing him out of the opportunity instead of Ospreay, and Ospreay's out of the ring, so that way he's safe and doesn't take the pin because of how much hype and love is around him as a wrestler, as a singles division star. I could see that. I can also see Konosuke and Ospreay going for a third time at Full Gear, now with something more heavy on the line, that being this belt, and that being one-on-one. And having Konosuke pin Ospreay doesn't do anything to Ospreay's career, doesn't do anything to Ospreay's character, doesn't do anything to Ospreay entirely. We're still going to chant for him. We're still going to love him. We're still going to be singing his theme song. We're still going to be excited when he comes in and wrestles in a singles match or a tag match, what have it. There's nothing that Ospreay can do now, especially in AEW, that he cannot not continuously be a face. He was a heel in New Japan. People hated him because of the fact of how aggressive of a wrestler he was and how cutting edge and just absolute assassin he is when it comes to that sling blade. So this is definitely going to be a match that we need to study to see where that direction of these two men are going to be for Full Gear. Konosuke deserves this win more than anybody. I think now is the perfect time to elevate Konosuke to the next level and giving the Don Callis family something else to ride home about and rebuild its faction, especially with the Hurt Syndicate coming as well. The Hurt Syndicate coming. We see Bobby Lashley's already signed with AEW. We see Sheldon. We have MVP. The theory is that maybe who MVP is trying to get is not Mercedes Moné. It's Camilla or Camille. I don't know how to pronounce her name. Camille. Yeah, maybe it's not Mercedes. It's her. Thank you. It's not Nana. It's Swerve. He's building people upon people that have the better people. And he knows that if he could get those people, then he has a better faction. And the same goes for Callis. You're looking at me weird, okay?
Do some people think that he was trying to recruit Prince Nana?
I think people think that he was trying to recruit Mercedes, which is why I initially thought in the beginning, because it's the person handing the card, getting the card in their hand seems the most logical. But I had somebody on my TikTok do a stitch of one of my videos and pointed out this theory. And I think this theory is very interesting. It's a really cool theory, and I love talking about it. But I want that to be true because now you're poaching talent that is a lot more newsworthy than the talent that you're giving the card to. Nana, I believe, was a wrestler back in its time.
Yeah,
He was in WWF.
Yes. So, giving it from a wrestler that was good, we'll say. I don't really remember him, but good, to someone better. Mercedes, who's supposed to be really good, but Camille, who's really better. And I think that's the idea was going through the gentleman's head when he was making the stitch for that TikTok. And now that idea is in my head as well, because I think it's a very interesting concept of building a faction within other people's divisions, in essence. So, and like I said, Powerhouse not around. Hopefully he comes back soon. Bobby Lashley possibly showing up at WrestleDream this Saturday. There's a lot on the table here. So I think this is all good possibility for sure. But Now, the biggest thing that I'd like to talk about briefly here, really quick, and I'm going to let everybody go because I know it's kind of late. We found out that Swerve is coming back, and it's at WrestleDream. I'm going to start with Kay because I want to hear her thoughts briefly.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it was a smart idea to announce Swerve's return on Title Tuesday than just having it as a surprise for WrestleDream as a return? Really?
Because WrestleDream tickets aren't selling very well, and I think if you add Swerve to making an appearance, it would be better if he was wrestling. But at least showing up, I think that would maybe swing some people's decision to buy tickets, especially because he's also from Washington.
Okay. Asa?
That's my only reason.
That's a good reason.
Again, I'm gonna agree with Kay. I got nothing else to say. Yeah, I think she's right.
Yeah, it's a good reason. I wouldn't have said it. That's just me. I think giving a name like that with that much weight, you already know it's in Seattle. I would put, at least for myself, I'd put the pieces together that possibly Swerve is coming back. But if you didn't want to announce Swerve coming back, just giving us some promos and some, hey, Swerve's working out, he's training, he's getting ready, he's going back in the gym, this, that, and the third, like a tease for a return, and then having him show up at WrestleDream, I think also would sell tickets as well, because many people, if you give us some good promos leading into WrestleDream with Swerve, you know, you now have something to possibly bank on with the idea of Swerve coming back. And I mean, it's in Seattle, his hometown. So it's, you know, you put two and two together. It's could be something. It could be something, but it makes sense what you guys are saying. You know, you sell, especially if you're not doing well in the market value and the ticket value is not going up and they're not selling the tickets, saying, hey, Swerve's going to be here. You definitely want to come. Okay. Many people are going to be excited to see that. But now does that mean, I'm assuming he's going to return for the Hangman Jay White match. Because that's where, if you look at the card, again, this is a hypothetical, and this is just me going crazy. Swerve's in the middle between the Open Challenge and the Hangman match. And we already know that Hangman and Swerve have beef. They burnt down his childhood home. The Open Challenge could have been somewhere that Swerve could have took into for Darby Allin, what have you. So
I also think, though, that, like, I think Kenny Omega and Ibushi are going to show up. And right before we went on with you, I was looking through AEW's Twitter, and they've been doing, like, a countdown to WrestleDream where it says, like, it's a photo, and it says, like, however many days it's, like, nature and Mount St. Helens or whatever. And then it has, like, a different wrestler on it every time. And the one they put out today was Adam Copeland on it.
Oh, yeah.
So that makes me think that he's probably going to come back then as well. So I think having Ibushi, Omega, Copeland, and Swerve all doing surprise appearances is like many surprises. For one show. Yeah. So that was my other.
I definitely think there's going to be some big returns here. I definitely think there's going to be some exciting moments. We saw at the last WrestleDream, Copeland debuting. Let's not forget.
Oh yeah, I did forget. Thank you for that.
So that's another reason why he's on the poster. And it would be a perfect time because Copeland has been out for quite some time. Yeah. Now maybe showing back up, even if it's a promo, I'll take it. Something exciting, something to get the fans talking, and of course, we will see. We'll see how all that goes. But that is going to do it for us here for the predictions pod for, of course, AEW's WrestleDream. I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves, but you guys now have the floor. I'm going to box myself out and let you guys talk about what you guys got cooking up for the rest of this week. And of course, this Friday's big WCW show that you guys are going on. So let me remove myself and
all right. Yeah, thanks, Dylan. Yeah, tomorrow night. I haven't advertised it well, but I'm advertising it tonight. September and October we do WCW Halloween Havoc watch-alongs. That's one of my favorite pay-per-view. It's probably my favorite pay-per-view. But yeah, so we're starting at 7:55 tomorrow, and you can just check out our YouTube channel, or search for us, No Bones About Wrestling. If you go to www.nobonesabout, it'll have links to the YouTube. But yeah, we're starting at 7:55, so show up early, and then right at 8 o'clock we're starting the pay-per-view, and we're gonna watch WCW Halloween Havoc 1999, which was Vince Russo's first show booking for WCW. So it's a good show,
Yeah.
actually, because it's a pay-per-view, so the matches get more than 3 minutes. But yeah, it's going to be definitely a good one to talk about in the chat and everything. It's a wild show. So yeah, we're starting the Vince Russo era, and I think eventually we're going to do Vince Russo era watch-alongs, because it was just a bizarre time, and I would love to be able to talk about it.
It like hurts my brain.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't handle Vince Russo.
it was weird, but also I enjoyed it because you never knew what the fuck was going to happen when he was in charge. No idea. So I enjoyed that part of it. But anyways, yeah, 7:55 tomorrow. Halloween Havoc 99 watch along. What else did we got?
WrestleDream.
WrestleDream watch along. 6:25 Saturday. Before the 0 hour, and hopefully I think Dylan's going to be there, and Wolf is going to be there. And then, of course, next Tuesday, 7 o'clock, our weekly show, AEW Weekly, where we'll talk about the pay-per-view mostly. And so, yeah, that's what we got going on this week. So should be fun. Should be fun.
Yeah, no, definitely. I definitely will be joining you for WrestleDream. That is 100% happening. I will be there. So do not think I'm not coming for that one. Wolf's coming though, so maybe I might not. I don't know. Depends. Let's see if he has any more crazy hot takes by today to Saturday.
Well, see, I gotta get his predictions. He's the
champion.
He's the No Bones prediction champion right now. I gotta get his picks. You could win it. I haven't had it for a long time,
like almost a year, or possibly actually a year.
I don't know. I'm feeling good. I feel like I'm gonna win it back. So we'll see.
Yeah, I hope so.
We always say Wolf has the script. So
you convinced me about Takeshita. I want to change my official pick from Ospreay to Takeshita.
Listen, I got good arguments. I got good arguments. That's the thing. That's what makes the show for me interesting. Because I'll be like, I agree with you, 100%. But this is my argument to you, and then I just hit you with crazy argument facts. And
I was still on the border.
Yeah, well, I mean, because it's hard. This is a hard one because it's Ospreay or Takeshita.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, it'd be crazy if they give it to Ricochet, but at the same time, it's I just feel like Tony feels the way that we feel, where it's too soon. He's still fresh. He's just only 3-0. It's not he's not 13 or 14-0 like hologram. He was 14-0 like hologram going into a pay-per-view. Okay, now he's on the table for possibly winning a belt. He's still developing his character. His promos aren't crazy great. He's still trying to figure out who the hell he is in AEW, but his wrestling is always top notch. He's athletic. He's an athletic, superhuman high flyer. He always has been, always will be, and that'll always be who Ricochet is, but he hasn't had enough time yet. Let him. This is his first first or second pay-per-view now that he's wrestled on?
I think first. Yeah.
First one? Did he come?
Well, he showed up at All In Wrestling, and
he showed up. Okay.
Yeah. Well, he wrestled in that gauntlet match, the casino gauntlet at All In. That's when he made his debut.
So.
And that was pay-per-view. I was gonna say I think Okada, once he officially signed with AEW, in his first match he won the Continental title.
It's Okada.
Yeah, that's true.
I know that it's a bad argument because it's but it's Ricochet.
Yeah.
It's but it's Okada's been here for a long time. He's been doing this for a very long time. He's built a presence a lot harder and more intricately than someone like Ricochet, who just came from WWE, now over in AEW, and like still finding his footing and stuff. I mean, look what they did for Adam Copeland. They gave him the belt, and then all of a sudden he lost the belt the same night because, you know, my stepfather, Christian Cage, didn't want that to happen. So,
we didn't talk about that. Do you think Christian's going to cash in this time, or just come out and pretend like it and then get discouraged and go to the back? Because he's also down one man right now, so it would be just him and Nick Wayne and.
Well, he has Nick Wayne's mom.
Mother Wayne.
Yeah, he has Mama Wayne. He has Mama Wayne. You know, she could serve him up like a hot, fresh potatoes and eggs and something to kind of steer him off balance or something. So, you know, I don't know.
She did work at Denny's. They're very famous.
That's what I'm saying.
Their eggs
She can give him
potatoes.
she can give him a grand slam. You know, that'll be her signature move. That's what you call it. I don't know if it's just a DDT or if it's just like a pie to the face or something, but it's a grand slam. So we'll see. I don't know. Maybe. I just hope we see him. That's all I care about. As long as I see the guy, I'm pretty content seeing my stepdad. You know, he was a better father anyway. So we'll see. We'll see how it all.
Sorry, back to that international title match just for a second.
Yeah.
You know, we had Ospreay really, you know, tell off Don Callis on Dynamite. So, man, it just seems like Ospreay is going to get his comeuppance from Callis. Callis is going to cost him. And I think you said, you know, I think Ospreay will take the pin to Takeshita, you know, because we already had Ospreay beat Takeshita, you know, when we saw Revolution, which was probably the best match I've ever seen in person. But yeah, I think Takeshita will get the win back on Ospreay, and he's I think overdue for having a belt. And then he actually is an international wrestler. Well, Ospreay is too. But anyways, I think Takeshita gets it with cheating. Yeah, for sure. That's what I think.
I like that. All right, let's get out of here. Thank you guys so much for being a part of the actual show itself. I love doing this stuff with you guys every time. AEW is going to be your realm. I'm going to be doing a lot of AEW stuff with you guys, and everybody else will have the other company and stuff. So we'll kind of keep it that way. Oh. And then whatchamacallit, very excited for your show on Friday. And of course, I'll be seeing you guys Saturday for WrestleDream as well. So definitely be tuned in for all of that. Make sure you go ahead and give them a little bit of love over on Twitter and stuff. Bless you.
Sorry.
All their links to their description, to their YouTube channel and everything is down below and will be available in the description on Spotify as well when this gets posted and aired tomorrow. So make sure you guys go and check that all out. And of course, for us here over on Long Island Wrestling, we of course are going to be coming back, not tomorrow, but Monday night for none other than Monday Night Raw Watch Along and AEW. Nope, that's SmackDown. AEW Dynamite Watch Along back on Wednesday. Thank God, because I missed it being on Wednesdays, and Tuesday was too much. It was too much. It was too weird, and I didn't like it. Of course, make sure you say hi and good night to your tribal chief, the only tribal chief that matters in professional wrestling, and give these guys a cookie and a chicken bake so that way they can not go hungry anymore. Those Costco guys. Love those guys. Alrighty. Have a wonderful night, guys. Thank you guys so much. And we'll see everybody next time on Long Island Wrestling Pod. See you then.
Yeah.
Rain cooking up, no rocks in the pan, watching the plan form in the sand, bidding castles out of thoughts in our head, late nights, no sleep in my bed, trying to see my dreams manifest. Look at that, now look at that, we nice. Put the past on ice.